Welcome, traveler, to Folk Recovery, Joni NehRita. And here is Joni's story.
Well, hello, my name is Joni NehRita. I am a singer-songwriter based in Waterloo, Ontario. I am folk because of um, the why I do music and how I do music. I think for me anyway, especially in talking with some of my friends who are BIPOC artists who maybe didn't previously feel like they could claim folk. One of the things that we have discussed is the reason that we make music, a big part of it being seeking reciprocity and seeking community and communion with our audiences. And I feel like that has always been a part of um, my mandate, for lack of a better word, or the way that I want to show up as an artist. So yeah, I am folk because I'm a storyteller. I'm folk because I want to build community. I'm also folk, I think, because of some of the lenses I write through, using social justice and equity and universal love and cultivating of compassion. These are some of the themes that come up regularly in my music. And I feel that they are folk. I found folk through, well, it's kind of like two parts. I found folk, or I was told what folk is, um, by way of being Canadian and being an Ontarian for the last 15 years or so, living in a predominantly white place, Guelph, Kitchener, Waterloo. And so I was told or shown folk is what they're doing, which is music that is centered around acoustic guitars and banjos and fiddle and a Eurocentric type of folk music. And so that's how I was, that's what, I don't know, was sort of put on me. This is what it is. It's what we're doing. It's not what you're doing over there, whatever that is. That's definitely not folk. It's what we're doing. But then, you know, in thinking a little bit about what folk recovery is, to me, and in meeting some artists that are similar to me in not necessarily the music, but the way that they do, or the why and the how they do what they do, I started realizing, oh, I mean, maybe NDRE was folk. Even with all her R&B runs, why was she doing what she was doing? What was she singing about? And what was the way that she showed up as an artist? You know, very much folk, in my opinion. So that is, am I even straying off of the question? I found folk through, okay. Yeah, I found folk through being an Ontarian and being shown this is what it is, and it's definitely not what you're doing, honey. And then having time to reflect and see that actually some of my musical influences, if I'm using the definition of folk that I previously talked about, then yeah, NDRE is folk, Bob Marley is folk, old calypso is folk music to me as a Caribbean person. And I'm am continuing to find folk right now as an artist, through exploring music from the diaspora, and exploring and giving myself permission to honor what feels right for me musically, um, and also tuck folk into my fold as a part of what I do. Certainly changing instruments helped. Not changing instruments. I have previously been mostly a singer who plays piano, and in the last few years, I have been playing guitar more. And a big part of why I started playing guitar more, which I don't think I've told you this, Kijo, or maybe I have, is because I was like, I need these white people to take me seriously as a songwriter. and hire me for these festivals and these shows. And it's like they can't get past the fact that I'm doing it on a keyboard. I don't know why. Um, so I'm finding folk through having it mirrored back. See, look, I play guitar now. Oh, wow. Yeah, what a songwriter you are. When really, like, I haven't changed that much. I've been writing for 25 years. I learn and grow as we all should and do as artists, but fundamentally, I've always identified as a songwriter and I have always had social justice in my writing, always. So I just think that's interesting. I'm finding folk through trying to give them what they want, but then actually being like, guitar is pretty fun because I get to stand up, which means I can move around the stage more and have even more of that sort of immediacy of connection with audiences, which I do like. I see folk recovery here in Canada as reclamation, as decolonization. I see it as a broadening of the definition and allowing, I really don't love that word, but making space for more of us to decide what folk even is. It can't be just a few people saying this is what it is. We need all of those voices and all of the colors, and colors as in people, but also the colors of the music itself, depending on where people come from, they're going to bring rich and beautiful flavors and instruments from, their their heritage and their traditions. And I think that's really important. So yeah, I see, for me anyway, folk recovery is definitely like about decolonizing my own self as a person who has been maybe inhibited by the definitions that were thrust upon me, and also not apologizing so much for saying that I'm folk, because I noticed that when I started saying it, there was always like a caveat, like right after, but like not, and feeling like I was going to get shut down or something like that. And it's like, no, I need, so yeah, the recovery for me is standing on my own 2 feet and being comfortable and confident about claiming folk as a part of what I do and not feeling like I need to apologize for it. I am a Black woman, so obviously my take on folk is going to come through my lens. I happen to be Jamaican. There's going to be that element as well, and that's okay, and I don't have to they don't have to shy away from that. I think one of the reasons I started claiming folk was because of you, Kijo, lovely esteemed host. You were the first person who said I was folk and you were going to play me on your show, and I was like, what's that? Okay. And literally like, oh, I guess there is an acoustic bass on there, like an upright, like trying to figure out how on earth this woman who is also Black came to like identify me as that. And at first it made me uncomfortable because most of the people, like I said earlier, they don't think of me as all at all. So I was sort of like turning it over, and I think I had mentioned it to my husband, like, yeah, she got this folk show, but it's kind of like a colorful folk show. So how would that work for me? What part of me is folk? And he was like, really, the songs. And so, yeah, I really feel like for me, the journey into folk, it's pretty new. And it really started with you reaching out and like, hey, I've got this this show and I'm going to play your songs. And me being like, but why? And really working through that. It makes sense to me now, but at the time, it didn't. And so I have to thank you and the Janice Jolies of the world who are like, No, this is yours as well. My final share with you, traveler, is that life is rich and wonderful and uh, motion and change. And so I encourage everyone, myself included, to just sit in that richness and be open to it, and to maybe not get too bogged down about what we call what, why, and getting too into the nitty gritty. Just letting feelings um and emotions and intention lead first. Then maybe we can talk about what it is and why it is and how it doesn't line up with this, that, and the next thing. But yeah, my final share would be like music is, for at least for me, it's about moving in motion, motion within and without, in the hips, in the heart, in the mind, in the soul. So, let us let the music move us, and then we can talk about what it is, maybe. I think that it's important to also keep in mind that women of color, let me say Black women, not even women of color, let me say Black women, because that's what I am. Um, if we can find a way to be more open to allowing us to express the fullness of our experience, which yes, sometimes can be painful in dealing with um, you know, racism and misogyny and all the rest. But there are also moments of joy that we want to be able and encouraged and welcomed to express in their fullness, and not be, we don't want to feel like there has to be sort of this binary of, okay, you're, in my case, hey, you're the social justice lady, you're angry. And it's like, well, but I'm also really quick to laugh, literally smell flowers, take pictures of them. Like I'm two things, I'm many things. I'm a joyful person as well. It's not one or the other. So I think sometimes it might be there might be stereotypes that have come to us through the media and TV that we watch. If you don't have a lot of people of color in your life, like in real life, you might think that it's only one kind of situation based on what you might see in the media. But we are not a monolith. We are out here living life in all the colors and all the emotions, and we just want to be able to express that in its fullness and its richness. Thank you.
Thank you, traveler, for joining us on this folk recovery oral history production, created by guest storytellers with contributions from Gaitrie Killings, ASL performer and advisor; Joni NehRita, folk community advisor and sound producer; Karen Young, technical producer; Stephanie Williams, assistant producer; Alyssa Matthews, station manager at CJRU 1280 AM; Allison Skirm, special collections and liaison librarian at Toronto Metropolitan University Libraries; Heather Hewitt, folk recovery logo designer, as well as senior artwork specialist and yogi. And special thanks to our friends, family, and community supporters, and to our funder, the Ontario Arts Council. I am Kijo Buchanan, narrator and executive producer. Ashe.